First, the people with the most difficult jobs in Jewish education. Dr. Akiva Perlman and Drs. Rebecca Mischel and Shoshana Friedman, they are all here as our guests. They are, from what I am told, they are the particulars in the guidance department here at the JEC, and I only tongue-in-cheek say that it's the most difficult job these days, but it seems like it is, in fact, no matter what school you're in. Guidance is one of the most difficult jobs out there. Anyway, welcome to all of you, and thank you for joining me here this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Good morning.
Earlier in the show, I was discussing with Rabbi Teitz, I think it was with Rabbi Teitz, I think maybe one of our other guests as well, with Dr. Singfer. I was discussing with Dr. Singfer how different things are today than when I was in school. If I would describe to you the guidance department when I went to school, it would be a lot different than what you have today. Could you give us an illustration of how large or how comprehensive a guidance department in a school has to be these days?
In short, we have close to 20 people a part of our team. So there's the three of us that head up each division. For me, the boys' high school and the middle school. Dr. Friedman at Bruriah and Dr. Mischel in the elementary school. But then we also have grade advisors and mechanchot that work under us. But I remember my experience also. In the guidance department, it was like this dark room in the back alley behind everything else, behind some books.
A little corner closet that nobody ever thought about.
Yeah, and I think at this point, we're a part of the fabric of the institution. We're a part of the educational process. Every step of the way we're there. And I think the reason being is that emotional health, emotional well-being is so integral to any other part of learning. We had Rebellia Brudney here just yesterday speaking with our teachers, and he made this statement of well-being is like a part of the Torah. That was his statement. He's saying you can't internalize like the beauty, the integrity of the Torah unless you're like a healthy human being. So what we try to do is bring that into every facet of education. And it starts from the beginning.
A religious leader like himself decades ago I don't think would have thought that way, or would have incorporated into the school experience.
Like,
and this he
made
a point
special
to.
Man. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. And in the notes that I was handed as we introduce our guests and welcome all of you to the show. So someone made the point to say that every division is led in the guidance department by a doctor, meaning that, you know, people now, in order to qualify for this position, really do need degrees and background, proper education, etc. And that's significant. That's important.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. I think we do stand out in the fact that every division has a doctor. Every division is really the top in their field. We brought a Dr. Mischel this year, who's done some amazing work in the past, and she sort of landed running. Brought in a program just a few days ago, a bullying program, and created a whole curriculum. Is in the classroom. It's phenomenal what she's doing, and Dr. Friedman as well. These are people that are like the top of the field.
Well, let's explore some of that. So bullying is obviously one of the topics that's always coming up when it comes to guidance and trying to how do I put it? Run a school properly. You know, it's certainly one of the top topics of the day. Let's go around. Just tell me some of the challenges that kids are facing these days and things that are coming across your desks on a regular basis. What types of problems are there?
I think bullying became a hot word
lately.
For
sure.
And one of the reasons we were excited to have Dr. Norman Blumenthal here to discuss the topic earlier this week is to lend some clarity and insight into what bullying really is. And I think walking away, the parents really got a sense of that and understood that, thank God, this is not an environment where we have bullying. Do we have normal conflict? Yes. Do we have typical peer interactions? Yes. Is it bullying? Almost never. But we are trying to address the norm, the typical peer conflict, the typical interactions, to give them the tools to just deal with regular relationships and normal incidents on the playground, which are all part of growing up. Yeah,
well, I guess see, I'm trying to think back to the good old days, so to speak. It seems like these problems have always been, been at the forefront and always had to be dealt with. I assume we never dealt with it in such a formal.
Yeah, we've just never given it a term or proper word.
Right.
And that word is bullying. And what we've needed to do is sort of create like a language, give the kids a language at a very young age. What does it mean to act appropriately, to be kind? To be aware of another's emotion, and then as they progress, it becomes a lot more complicated. The way we treat it becomes more complicated. in the middle school, we have a full curriculum for the kids that really speak about not only like the bully interaction, but what does it mean to witness it? What is the bystander like? And that's our focus. But that's from 6th through 8th grade, which Dr. Blumenthal said is the real, like, most important age to really address this head on. We've been running that for almost 10 years now.
Right.
Like a wonderful program.
Does the today there's so many different educational needs that each individual student needs, that each individual student faces in terms of their own capabilities, in terms of different things that they may be, I don't want to say suffering from, but they different conditions they may have. Is this all under the guidance department? Would all of that fall? So you're essentially in a relationship with every student, trying to advocate for them to get what they need, whether it's in the testing system or in the classroom atmosphere, etc. Right? Every one of them.
I think Dr.
We
Friedman
actually
can talk
meet
about
with every single one of our students. Early on in the year, we get to know all the new students, have individual meetings with them. We have a phenomenal team in our school at Bruriah of mechanchot that work with our students, meet with our students. At this point, it's only a couple months into the year. All of our students have virtually been met with by one of our grade advisors. They're also getting lots of training, programming. Dr. Perlman mentioned Rav Budney, who we brought in this week to our teachers. He was talking about, a lot of the issues that they've been dealing with as teachers in the school, addressing a lot of topics that we really haven't had a forum to be able to talk about in other areas. They had an opportunity to ask questions, address more sensitive topics that sometimes come up with our students. So we're having these programs for our teachers. We're getting into the classrooms on a regular basis with our students. We're bringing in a healthy body image program now for our students. It's about, promoting positive body image, positive body talk to really contrast some of the social media messages that our students are getting. And between, I guess, the guidance department, which is very much part of the fabric of the school, the culture in Bruriah at this point, speaking of high school, same thing. When I was in high school, the guidance department was kind of a place you went to. If you went, you kind of snuck out. At this point, it's really very much the culture of Bruriah, which really predated me, is one wherein the students can come. They're making appointments. My days are booked with students that are seeking out help. It's an amazing experience.
Dr. Shoshana Friedman, Dr. Rebecca Mischel, Dr. Akiva Perlman, speaking about guidance. We keep talking about the open houses and the fact that parents are invited to check out all the schools, obviously, either through the formal open house or on their own. They would not settle for less than this now, right? There's no way to actually run a school without this one-on-one, without guaranteeing the parents that there will be a one-on-one supervision, a one-on-one attention being given to each student for their educational needs and their social needs.
I think many parents are settling. I think what you're seeing here is very unique.
Really?
I don't think it's the norm. I think when you're talking about a program that is as intensive as ours, where every single kid is accounted for, where we're just checking in on them. This might be a controversial statement, but I see this generation as having of the hardest times. They're inundated with so much that comes their way, and we need to pay attention to that. And the fact that there's the three of us that are overlooking this institution and making sure that every kid is met, I do see that is unique. I don't think that that's the norm. I think it's kind of special what we have here.
And in addition to that, if one were to analyze closely how different things are now than even a year ago or 2 years ago, with the social media component especially, we don't realize, as people my age, I don't think realize what kids today are going through and how it's ever changing, how it's evolving, and in some areas gets very dangerous.
Yes, there's no question. There are many new frontiers out there on the web, just with general technology, and we're talking about it. We have programs in Bruriah, we have programs in RTMA that really address this. We're aware of it. I conducted a survey several years ago from the middle school all the way through the high school, and what we found is that these kids have access to virtually everything. We accept that as a reality, and we say, okay, considering that reality, what can we do to make it better for them?
Right.
And primarily, we want to give them a forum, because when kids are in this alone, we have a program coming up where the parents are going to be coming in and learning more about this, but when kids are in it alone, they don't have a way to kind of express or diffuse that energy. They want a place to turn to that could be there to help protect them and guide them. And often it's such a taboo subject that parents just stay away from it. And we're advocating against that. Please open up the doors, have the conversation, create a conversation. One of the things that come up with kids is they're saying, I'm struggling with certain things, I'd like a filter, but if I share with my parents that I want a filter on my computer, then they're going to think poorly of me. So how to do that? How could parents create a forum where kids could actually share that, and similarly, where kids could actually feel comfortable enough to bring that to them?
Wow, what challenges today.
Yeah.
Okay, I thank you all very much. Anything you'd like to add? No?
Thank you.
I thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
having us.
We have Dr. Akiva Perlman, Dr. Rebecca Mischel, and Dr. Shoshana Friedman, the guidance leaders, JEC, RTMA, and Bruriah, and a very important department. Thank you all very, very much.